Good evening. Thanks for choosing us. My name is Emma Davis. Tonight on Prime Business, Senior Finance Lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Benjamin Amoah, has joined calls for the review of the electronic transaction levy, rather than outright abolishment of the levy in the 2024 budget. He contends it is a premature act to abolish the policy, as it could have a serious implication on some policies linked to it, like the You Start program. Dr. Amoah's comments follows the research conducted by the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, disclosing that about 1 million mobile money accounts were inactive after the implementation of the E-Levy in May 2022.
It will not be a bad idea to revisit the policy and then to have a total appreciation of what has gone on as far as the E-Levy is concerned. Remember, we have had more than 1 year of implementation of the E-Levy. And if you consider the fact that government was expecting about 6 billion right from the beginning, and this has been scaled down, it will not be out of place if an assessment of the E-Levy is conducted. To abolish or not to abolish, a lot of considerations must go into that. The government introduced the E-Levy because the government was considering getting the informal sector to contribute to the tax net that we have. That is appearing not to have materialized, looking at the numbers that we are seeing or the amount that has mobilized from the electronic levy. Again, we shouldn't forget that the government made some promises based on the usage for the E-Levy. The question is this: if the government abolishes the E-Levy, what will happen to the initiatives that were hinged on the E-Levy? Until the government convinces itself that it will have other sorts of funding to meet these initiatives, You Start was one of them, and then some other government initiatives. It's really difficult for one to say that abolish it. If not, the success of such programs will also come under question. So government must do a lot of thinking and to see if it will be possible. But the question is this: what are we taxing here? We are just taxing convenience. And so if you are making or receiving revenue from just taxing convenience, and the cost of the E-Levy architecture does not in any way negate the revenues that you are mobilizing from the E-Levy tax handle, why would you abolish it? Most importantly, when you need revenue to run the economy, we need to think about it and think about it again before we abolish it.
The Bank of Ghana says it stands ready to respond appropriately should inflation go up in the coming months. Inflation for September was 38.1%. Speaking at the opening session of the IMF YFAM Regional Course on Monetary Policy, Director of Research at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Philip Abredu-Otu, stated that the central bank would not hesitate to tighten its monetary policy stance to control inflation going forward. Here's more.
The implementation of monetary policy, various monetary anchors ranging from money growth targets, exchange rate and inflation targeting have been heavily adopted by most West African economies. To this end, the West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, with support from the International Monetary Fund, is organizing a 2-week regional course for some monetary authorities within the sub-region on monetary policy. Speaking at the opening of the regional course, Director of Research at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Philip Abredu-Otu, underscored the importance of monetary policy in managing economic fluctuations with a view of achieving price stability. He added that the central bank stands ready to respond appropriately should inflation rise.
It is worth noting that monetary policy cannot be conducted successfully in isolation from fiscal policy. To maximize the objectives of monetary policy, it must be complemented with a sound fiscal policy mix, even though in reality, policy effectiveness of most central banks is marred by the issue of fiscal dominance, especially in most African countries. But of course, the committee assured that while the expectation is for continued disinflation it will stand ready to respond appropriately should inflation deviate from these broad expectations.
Director General of West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, Dr. Baba Musa, tells Joy Business the workshop could not have come at a better time than this, when most economies in the sub-region are grappling with price stability.
Countries in the world beyond a point that we never had before. And this time around, I think the idea of this training program is to reshape and build the capacity of all the officials who are involved in monetary policy formulation and implementation to, retrain them to be able to meet the challenges that our countries are facing right now. There are new realities that our countries are facing. So the objective of this is to really keep the participant up to date with the modern tools, and that also give them opportunity to address all the challenges they are currently facing.
The regional course is hoping to reshape and deepen intellectual discourse while upholding the effort at achieving monetary policy harmonization within the West African sub-region. For Joy Business, Pius Kujubaka.
The Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research is projecting a slowdown of the services sector this year as it forecasts a 1.8% growth. This would be lower than previous year's performance. It is, however, expected to expand by 3% in 2024 and 5% in 2025, respectively. Here's more.
The services sector and the agricultural sectors are expected to be the drivers of growth in 2023. According to ISA, the International Monetary Fund deal will help Ghana regain investor confidence and boost domestic tourism. Overall, it said the services sector is expected to gain significant benefit with the sealing of the IMF deal. It concluded that the sector is expected to continue to show resilience and provide the backbone for overall economic growth. In the second quarter of 2023, the services sector recorded a growth rate of 6.3%. According to the Ghana Statistical Services, 10 out of the 11 subsectors expanded during the period. The IMF is, however, forecasting a 1.5% growth rate for Ghana this year.
That's all for Prime Business with me, Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is internationals. Do stay.